Hello, fabulous, beautiful thugs and people. Welcome back to the B3ST Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. I'm going to be your fun, talkative host. We are going to be discussing the last two episodes of Queen's Court. I am aware that all of the episodes are available on Peacock. However, I've been recapping it as they come on Bravo on the television. But for these two episodes, we'll be recapping Family Knows Best, which is season 2, episode 8, and Just What the Doctor Ordered, which is season 2, episode 9. If you have not already, we would greatly appreciate it if you guys would like the video. If you really like what we are doing here, feel free to subscribe to the channel and all of those good things. I hope that everybody can hear me well. I don't have my actual equipment with me, but we will continue to do what we do. Normally, James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel is here. He is working, so he's running a little bit late. So he'll join us at some point during the recap. But in the meantime, check the link in the description of the video. There is a link to James's channel. Feel free to check in. Tap in, check in, all those good things. We are going to start with Family Knows Best, which was season 2, episode 8. The episode starts where it left off, which was an elimination dinner, which was really interesting because they're starting to like leave more cliffhangers, which I can appreciate. Keep us interested. But then based on these two episodes, I felt like they could have found a way to conjoin them into one, but that's just me. So Lisa Ray addresses Booker, who she's had a good connection with. And it seems like she got it in her head, this man is not fun. And I don't want to be the only one making us have any type of fun. So, that's fair. Especially, she does seem goofy. She does seem a little bit goofy. But she does ask Booker to stay, which makes sense. But I feel like Lisa Ray putting pressure on the idea of having fun is going to take the fun out of the fun that she needs. It's like, she got to relax. I'm really hoping that she sees that. But she may see that because she's giving him a chance. But then, she, all in the same thing. She's putting too much pressure on it. So Lisa Ray then moves on to speak to Charles. And Charles, basically, Lisa Ray feels like he does not take advantage of the time that they have together or the time when she's around. Like, he's not doing the most to get into her space. And I feel like it's the same repetitive stuff that I keep saying episode after episode. These men that they casted are clearly not comfortable on television. A lot of them were struggling with the idea of competing for a woman, let alone doing it on national television and your streaming apps, which are international. So I do kind of understand Charles's discomfort. I also feel like it's not fair to put somebody out who's... Now, I get her cutting him because I don't feel like Lisa Ray was really feeling Charles. I just don't. A lot of what he said did come off as disingenuous, but I also feel like he seems like a good person who just really was not comfortable with being on camera like this, especially competing against a bunch of men. But she feels he doesn't take advantage. And we did see at the little album release party, he was kind of just sitting to the side on his phone, not even trying to make the effort. And that's okay. It's totally fine for him to be that way. But being that Lisa Ray is somebody who is in the spotlight, I do think she made the right choice by not dealing with him. So Lisa Ray, honestly, is one of the few as of this episode who's like actually taking the time to get to know these men and, trying to make the best, decision. But with age comes wisdom, and she definitely has gained a lot of wisdom. Now, K. Michelle then addresses Andre, and she asked him to stay, which I immediately thought was a mistake. Now, in Family Knows Best, the episode we're discussing now, this is where we meet Andre's friend, right? This is his best girlfriend, but they've only known each other 4 years. The girl confessed to Kay that he has not had the best luck in relationships because they feel a way about her friendship with him. If she was really his friend, she'd get out the way or make friends with his girlfriends. But I do agree with Kay. I think that woman wants him, but that shouldn't deter Kay from trying to build a relationship with her. But Andre lasting this long is weird as a whole to me. But again, this was not the best batch of men that we got on this season of Queen's Court. And I'm hoping next season they do a little bit better, especially if they want to attract, like, you know, celebrities that are like doing stuff, or social media people that are doing stuff. Lisa Ray's been pretty relevant. K Michelle has. Delicious somewhat, so but if they want to keep attracting appropriate talent, they definitely need to up the quality of men they choose. I'm just saying. And it's not even the quality, like, at least pick men who are comfortable in the spotlight and being on TV. That's just how it should be. Now, the next day comes and there are a lot less men in the house. It's very noticeable for the first time. And this is where we learn that the men are going to meet the queen's loved ones. So they got to meet their friends, right? The queens met the men's friends. Now the men are going to meet the loved ones of the queens. And I'm not going to say family. I'm going to say loved ones, because nobody's family was really on this show like that. Nobody's family was there. Which annoyed me a little bit. Don't call it family if it ain't family. That's all I'm saying. Anywho, each of the ladies, the queens, their loved ones, will each get to choose a man that they will go on a private date with, which I thought was an interesting twist. So Delicious has her Aunt Gina, her cousin Mimi, and her bestie Katie there. And Zeus and Tracy are the two men that she is left dating. Now, I loved Delicious's Auntie Gina, or London, whatever the hell she want to be called. I loved her Auntie Gina. I liked her cousin. Her Delicious's family came off as the most like down to earth and real. Love them. Love them. But I was kind of noticing that Zeus and Tracy look exactly the same, except Tracy's beard probably needs to be picked with an afro pick here and there. And Zeus got the little lineup. He don't got to do much. So she pretty much picked the same guy. One seems like evil and the other seems good. I'm going to let y'all decipher who you think is who. But they get to meet with the family. They're having dinner. And Zeus comes with a very thoughtful gift. Now, Delicious had expressed to him on one of their previous interactions that she had a niece that passed away. Really unfortunate. We learned that the young lady did pass away while just trying to better her life and go to school. She was in college and she was killed in a mass shooting. So, prayers and condolences, not just to her, but to all the victims. There's too many of those happening. So I was sad to hear that. But he gave her a gift that was essentially some sort of crystal or stone. And in the center of it was a picture of her niece. This threw me off, because where did he get the picture? Now, while it's something thoughtful, I don't trust it. Where did you get the picture? How did you learn the girl's name? I understand some of you may be like, oh, he could Google search it, but why? Why Google search it? That's so strange. Like, if you really get to know this girl in that moment that she told you about that, what was her name? Where is she buried? Like, ask something, but it was just weird. Like, it was thoughtful, but I couldn't fully receive the thought that Zeus had put into this gift, because I felt like it made him look like an opportunist. It did not seem genuine, and it felt like he was doing it because he likes to win and is competitive, versus actually empathizing with her pain of losing someone important to her. So that's just my observation. Let me know in the comments if y'all feel differently. Whenever James joins in on the live, I will ask him as well. But I don't know, something about that gift was disingenuous. But Delicious is the type, like, where she lives in the moment, which I think she needs to learn to live in the moment, while also being cognizant of when she's out of the moment and how things could really go, like really just viewing things from a bigger perspective. And I was just thinking too, poor Tracy cannot compete. This man came on a date with a damn stone, trying to impress the family. I think the worst thing you can do when you meet your in-laws is try to be something you're not. When I'm around my in-laws, I'm very, very quiet, almost too quiet, and then if you ever show personality, it might freak them out. The same way showing, or trying to impress them and being someone that you're not could freak them out. Like, just go and be who you are because if you want to marry them or be in a long relationship with them, you got to deal with them anyway. Um, so poor Tracy can't compete with the gift. But when Tracy interacted with the family, I felt like he was way more genuine. That's just my personal opinion. Something about Tracy is comforting. Like, even through the TV screen, he's comforting, but he does seem too nice. And I'm starting to understand why she was making the comments in previous episodes about him wanting to please her all the time and how that could be like some type of a problem. I can kind of see that. There is a such thing as too nice. And me personally, like, I like a man that's going to be able to defend me. And Tracy doesn't give that. He gives the type of like, come on, babe, let's just walk away. And that bothers me. Welcome, James.
Hello. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here.
Oh, you're only 10 minutes late. It's okay.
Okay, I'm in the background. I'm going to be eating a little bit, so I'll be right with you.
You're totally fine. So, Tracy, he was more himself. I feel like it's hard for him not to be himself, but I definitely respected how he came across to the family versus how Zeus came with like a really deep gift. He's like, oh, I'm gonna move everybody. If that's her niece, that could be her sister, her cousin, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I wasn't feeling that, y'all. Zeus's gift, very thoughtful, but I don't trust that. That's also kind of a boundary thing, too. Like, we don't know each other like that. And you're taking pictures of my dead niece and putting them into crystal and getting it sent to me so fast. It just, the whole moment felt disingenuous. It may not be Zeus. It could have been a production thing. You never know. Come back, Queen's Courts men. Some of y'all done commented on here. I would love to hear if that gift was something genuine or if producers was in that bald man's ear. Now, after the date, Delicious does talk with her fam, and basically her family felt like Tracy was more genuine. They felt like he was a little bit too calm for her because Delicious is clearly a lot. However, I do think she needs someone that's a little more settled, calmer than she is. Still feisty. I don't think Tracy has all that she needs, but I do think she needs someone that's calmer than her. Zeus did seem, huh? Oh, I didn't expect him to talk.
I was agreeing with you. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, he's just an interesting situation. But the family felt the same way about Zeus that I did. They felt like him giving a gift so early was disingenuous. The family ends up choosing Tracy for the date. And if we pay attention to the little commentaries they be giving in their personal confessionals and what Zeus was saying to the other men, he does brag a little bit too much. I have noticed that in the past few episodes. He gets a kiss. Everybody knows he's had a kiss. He sees a leg. Everyone knows he sees a leg. He has a moment. Everyone needs to know there's been a moment. And he kind of like manipulates and gaslights the audience and the women a little bit because the way he explains it, like he'll tell you something happened, but he won't really go into detail. And I just feel like that's super manipulative. That's just my personal
It is manipulative at the same time. I think it's more so a jealous rage. Like it's a pick me thing because he wasn't the first to get kissed. So I think it's more so a trope to one up, Tracy. I really do.
He really felt like he deserved the date. And he brought up the gift that he gave her. And that to me was like, boom. The fact that you would bring up something that you were supposed to give out of the kindness of your heart as a reason to why you feel you deserve this date, go straight to hell, Zeus. I'm sorry. You are beautiful and nice to look at, but go straight to hell. I think the family was right. James, how did you feel about Zeus's gift? Do you think they made the right choice with Tracy?
Absolutely. Especially because his gift didn't come with like a genuine consistency. It came off as you doing it to be cocky because you feel like people can be bought. He gives me that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And depending on what it was, I'm sure you would have got her, but I'm just saying that wasn't enough. If you were going to do all of
on
this.
camera, Delicious probably would have been gave him some.
Right. I'm trying to tell you. That's why I said depending on what it was, I'm just saying she probably would have lifted the leg up for him. But at the same time, I get why she had to be reserved. It looked like she was trying to fight herself too with that.
Yep. Now I do think that he's a good match for her in terms of them both being like he does have the calmness, but he also has that like gritty, like tough energy that I think would match hers. But he just seems shady.
He reminds me of her ex-husband in a way.
Yeah, that's actually a good observation.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at them. I was watching on YouTube some of the clip scenes from when they were on the marriage, whatever the shit was that Ray J and Princess were on. They were on that same season. And Deuce does remind me of him a lot.
Yeah, and that's not good because that has not worked for Delicious in the past. It just doesn't. But moving on, y'all. Now we got to get to Lisa Ray. So Lisa Ray has Da Brat, of course, who's her younger sister. Very famous siblings. We've known this. She has her daughter Kai and her cousin. I'm so sorry I did not catch that cousin's name. They all talk the same. There is no doubt in my mind that these people are related. And from Chicago. My mother-in-law told me a story. I guess she grew up near Lisa Ray and her daddy in Chicago or something. So I was like, oh, that's good to know they're really from there. Fun things. But they all talk the same. They all speak like people from Chicago speak. They got a certain way of speaking. I just got a hoot out of seeing Lisa Ray's daughter all grown up. Because she looks like her mom, but then she also kind of doesn't. But it was just nice to see her grown up for those of us who are just a smidge older and remember her shows and all the mess from her. But David and Booker come in. Y'all, listen, David, sometimes I like him. Other times I'm like, I feel like everything he says is rehearsed and he's too smooth and I don't trust it. Now, Lisa does it differently from how Delicious did it. Is she has the family meet with the man one at a time versus having both of them in front of the family. And Lisa says she ain't got nothing to say. She's going to let the family grill them in and she's not going to really speak too much, which I kind of like that concept because then you could really like see how they act when put on the spot, see if their initial, instinct is to lie or if they get weird. Like I didn't mind that. So Lisa's family was clearly more concerned with income. I was hollering in real time when Da Brat whispered about Booker. He must got the most money, huh? I said, you know what? Da Brat kind of has a point because Booker's okay, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel a little bit bored by him, but you do kind of wonder what's going on. But they do bring up, little things about Booker's personality, worried about if he's fun and all of these other things. And I don't know. I just don't feel like you can judge his personality fully and if he's fun from a few weeks. Like, I don't feel that way. I personally don't. But the family ends up choosing David for the date with her, which I think was fair because Booker has had quite a few dates. I don't know. Booker is a little boring. I can't lie about that. However, at the same time, he does have a little bit of soul, and I feel like with some liquor in him, he could be fun. But David worries me as a whole. James, if you're here, do you want to give your opinion?
Yes. I feel like with Booker, I feel like he's putting on for the camera. Just because of what his outside life is like out here. I don't 100% believe he's boring. And for David, there's something about him that I feel like is going to butt heads with her. I can't put my finger on it. But I feel like if she were to pick him for the, however they, pick their final men, their kings, I feel like later on he's going to do something or he's going to say something that's not going to be something he could ever be redeemed back from. That's how I feel because there's energy, there's something with him, but I can't quite figure it out.
I actually could not agree more with what you just said. There is something about him that gives me like shady, like how you feel, how people used to feel about used car salesmen or, people who, criminals and don't want the rest of us to know. Like there's something about David that comes off shady, but I also see he seems to need to be like the center of attention, and he has to look like he's giving this big grand point. And that to me says he's arrogant, hard-headed. I really don't like his haircut. And
Like I almost want to say, I don't think I don't want to say it's like a competition with Lisa Ray, but it almost is given like, to me, based on how he moves, it's almost given like she's fighting to win his crown versus it being the other way around. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, he's weird. He's something about him just makes me say, please, Lisa Ray, don't choose him. But the family chose her for the date. The next thing we see, you guys, is K Michelle, who pissed me off. K Michelle proved to us that this was just a contract that her agent must have booked for her. Why do we not see your family? Where is your child, Kay? He wasn't on Love and Hip Hop. He wasn't on any of your other shows. Where is this child?
I feel like he's grown by now.
He's grown by now. Exactly. Why can't we see your son come question somebody? Why can't Lisa Ray had her daughter there? So it makes me feel like Kay was just here because she was in between shows, wants to get more exposure for her country music album, and this was a check. And the reason I say that is because she had her god sister come, her friend come, her manager, pretty much her team.
Her yes men.
She had the makeup artist there, the manager, her publicist, and a white lady that owns a ranch. Now, these weren't even her friends, James. That's the part that really annoyed me. Like, she didn't have a cousin. She didn't have a friend. She didn't have a parent. I'm so confused, Kay, but okay.
I stopped rooting for K Michelle because I started this when I started seeing that she wasn't real about this shit is when she said a farm home. That's when I felt like, okay, you really ain't trying to find no man. You really not. Because the other picks were not it. But okay.
Yeah, I agree. Sending a farm home was actually a really strange decision. But hey, I get it. Also, I don't feel like he would have meshed with her lifestyle. But we learned that Nosh is not there again because of work. What do you do for a living, Nosh? Because you're not that big of a boss if you can't get out of something to come to this. Because a real boss could just walk away, go home, be done. Just saying.
I know. How long is filming? Like, how long is this process? Because I feel like it can't be no more than a month.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure for the men, they're just needed for like a few hours out the day. So I don't understand. I don't. But he had to work. Andre and Ben are the remaining men. Kay is the only one with 3 men. Now, I really don't like that she just had friends and colleagues, but everybody's getting grilled by her loved ones. And Nosh comes in late once again. I do not like that he does that. But I feel like this is something that Kay can't get mad at because she would probably be that way with her schedule. Let's just keep it real. But Nosh doing it, he does it in kind of an obnoxious manner. So I do get that. He claims he had a crucial call. And then he's saying in the confessional, he had to lie and say that somebody was at the door to get off the call. Well, if that's all you had to do, why didn't you get off the call sooner? Just say. He gave cliche answers when the family talked to him. Everything felt rehearsed. And this scene, I'm not going to comment too much on it. I'm going to just say this. I feel like Kay is reading Nosh entirely wrong. I don't see a connection. I know that she's attracted to him. I don't sense that he's attracted to her. Everything he says is perfect, and he is prioritizing his work over dating. And if you'll do that when you're competing for her, how bad is it going to get when you have her? That's how I feel about Nosh. Anywho, Nosh does not get the date. They chose Ben because they felt that he was the most emotionally mature. And they felt like Andre tried to put on that, bullshit ass, I'm a country boy, a good country boy act, which I agree. Because I'm one right with him. But James, how do you feel about K Michelle's people and Ben winning the date and all those good things and Nosh and all the BS?
I felt like, once again, these are her yes men that were in her circle. I feel like that's not to me, the appropriate measure if this is supposed to be like a family thing, because your family is going to be honest with you. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They don't care if that camera's in their face. I feel like the yes men, because they want to get their paycheck at the end of the month, they're going to say, well, he's perfect. And they're going to say all the things that you want to hear. So I kind of felt like that's a disadvantage for K. Michelle, but I know she don't care. Another thing, I feel like Nasha's full of shit. I don't know. The excuse was weird, but then also on the other extent, we need to know what he does for a living, where you can't take a couple hours off, or you can't cut. Like, take a leave, y'all who do these reality shows, take a leave of absence from work, so that way you can fully film and then go back to it if you can afford to do it. That is, and as far as Andre been on cap since the beginning of this whole series. So, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't see it for him.
Nosh is like just the wrong choice altogether, the way around. But maybe Kay feels some type of comfort from her because he reminds her of like the fakeness that's in the industry. Sorry, that's probably what it is. I feel like a lot of the women could be choosing these men based on that, but
can't argue with that.
Yeah, excuse how you view people. Anywho, I also feel like Ben is somebody that her team may have chosen to win the date, because while she's trying to enter the country music scene and while Black people are breaking down those walls to get back into country music, because we started, but having a fellow like Ben on her shoulder, it'll help her career-wise. So I don't know. But Ben and Kay do seem to also have a little bit of a connection. I think they're doing a terrible job of showing it in terms of editing, and we'll discuss that a little later. But that's just how I felt. Now let's move on to it felt like I was watching Flavor of Love 2 again, shenanigans. Zeus finally gets a kiss from Delicious, and it was an old nasty, sloppy one that you do before you do to do. But it was like really forced. I was pissed off watching because dude was like, oh, he got a kiss and I didn't get a kiss. I need to get me a kiss. And when I get me a kiss, I need to make it something more. So he got a kiss, and I don't like that it seemed like it was something more competitive. I did not like that. Did you sense that energy from him?
Absolutely.
Gross.
Yeah. This is what and see, that's the thing. He gives me like a borderline, like insecure. They need to bring back the concept of exes on the show. So that way we can get a real idea of what we're looking at here. I need to know why the last girl left now.
That would make it interesting too. Then we don't have to see these bullshit ass arguments between the couples where you could tell the women are clearly just, let me produce. If you bring the ex, some shit will go down. It always does. Who did that? I Love New York.
Yep.
Which was brilliant. So the winners of the dates are going to have dinner with the queens, and the losers are essentially just going to chat inside the house. But Tracy and Delicious are talking, and she says that him touching her leg means that she's comfortable. Delicious, be quiet. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not even going to do it. Be quiet. You 46 years old. Ain't no way in hell you should be this empty-headed at that age. And it's sad because we loved Delicious on Flavor of Love 2. And we've loved Delicious for years. And then she went and did all this crazy plastic surgery. And it's just looking like a hot mess that's empty in the head. Now, Tracy exposes that he was living with a spouse. They were in a relationship for what he said, a total of about 4 months, which is no time at all, by the way, especially if you're an adult. And he says that the woman just up and left him when they were when they were living together with no explanation. I feel like that was a red flag. She just up and left. You moved in together, but you were only together for 4 months, not even half a year. I feel like there's more to the story, obviously, but I felt like that was definitely a red flag. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, y'all, and y'all need to start paying attention to these red flags, and when you start hearing these kind of things, because that gives you your answer before you make these lifelong decisions with people. Just saying.
Preach. Now, the last thing we see in the first episode, Family Knows Best, is Lisa and David are having a moment on the couch. And I'm going to quote my husband because he watched it with me. He said, she too grown to like all this, to be falling for it. She really was. And separate from that, we learned that Lisa has grown to like the things about David that she disliked in the beginning that made him come across to her as disingenuous. Okay.
How do you do that?
Let me tell y'all this. I've been with the same person for 17 and a half years. And all the things that I did not like in the beginning, I still do not fucking like.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I was confused. I was like, wait.
No, you had it wrong.
Like, how do you do that?
No,
like,
you don't.
That's like
with the wrong person.
That's just like somebody chewing with their mouth open on the first day, and then when you in year 5, you're like, oh, that's just so attractive. You'd be like, no, don't close your goddamn mouth. Right. Damn. Like, no. She's weird. She's strange. That's how she bullshit.
Yep. Preach. So we're going to move into the next episode, which was Just What the Doctor Ordered, season 2, episode 9. This episode starts with Booker moping. Oh, he looks sad. He looked real sad. You could put him in Sesame Street to describe what it looked like to be sad. He looked sad. And in the meanwhile, Lisa Ray Sidney is seeing pics of David as a kid. He's, sharing some of his future, or not his future, Lord help me, his past. And I was like, oh, this is nice. But then he referenced like, yeah, this pic had to be taken. I can't remember either before or after my father committed suicide. Okay, y'all about to not like me, and that's okay. I don't care. I'm gonna keep it real. You never heal from losing a parent, no. However, why did you have a picture of just yourself dressed up as a rocket when you were a child? Why is that something you bring with you? I'd expect you to have a picture maybe of you and your mom, or your mom and your dad if you're a child, or a family picture. But why do you have a picture of yourself dressed as a rocket that you was interested to show her? Like, why that picture specifically? And then you reference the timeline of the picture being near before or after your father passed. Well, if your father passing was so detrimental to you, why don't you remember if that picture was from before or after? That is a traumatic moment happening in a stage of development that deals with middle childhood. We call it psychology. Therefore, a traumatic event such as your father passing at the age that he says it happened is something that would stick with him and impact him forever. It's something that would also be extremely memorable for him in terms of vivid memories because it causes trauma. So why don't you remember? Why did you show her a picture and then feel the need to reference it? And it worked because her mom recently passed away at the time that this was filmed. And I don't know, I just felt like that was shady for him to bring that up. He could have shown her pictures and just flipped the script. I understand he's bringing it up, and maybe because he's not healed from it, but it's definitely something that bothered me a lot. But apparently their connection's heating up. Of course it is, because he reeled her in by bringing that up. I feel like a lot of the men on this season who have interacted with Lisa Ray have all found a way to either try and connect with where she's from, Chicago, because people from Chicago is proud, child, proud as hell. Or they've used death of someone that they have loved as a way to get closer to her. I don't like that. I also feel like that's dangerous to bond with people over traumas. Just my opinion. James, maybe you read it differently.
No, I read the same way you did. We ain't too far apart with this. Yeah, no, that's the exact way I saw it.
I just don't. That's a strange thing. And that's just a strange thing. You've lost a parent, unfortunately, recently. I have them on social media. If a picture or something comes up, there's not the constant, oh yeah, this just happened to me. And yours is recent. So I'm like, if someone experiencing that in recent time, why can't this man? Something about David is off. He gives used car salesman. That's what he gives. That I'm sticking
Just
to.
a shyster.
Yeah,
We know shysters when we see them. I'll tell you.
shady as hell. Shady. He that person when you go to their house or if he at the event, you keep your purse close. That's the type of energy that David gives. But he could also be a good person. You know, I'm just going based off of what I see on the show personally. Moving on, y'all. Tracy and Delicious talking. You know, Delicious is acting like she did not know that Tracy was from Georgia, even though he done told her a few times that he's from Georgia. The other thing that annoys me is she keeps asking him questions about why he's moved, why he hasn't come back. She's trying to act like it's a concern and make a problem. And I'm just like, Delicious, you're looking like an airheaded slut that can't remember which one of her work had, you know, this on each day or something. Like, Delicious, what are you doing, girl? You cannot beat this man down for something that he already said. But she may not know it because she does seem like she's just enjoying the attention from the men on this show. But what pissed me off is he did not correct her. And this is why I don't think he will work for her. He's way too passive. If you know that you told her before that you from Georgia and that you went to school in Atlanta and that's where you from, then why didn't you be like, no, I told you that. What the hell? That is something you call people out on. That is something you call people out on. That would have made for good TV too. Hell.
Considering who he would have to call out, do you think she would have just took it as like, oh my God, my bad?
No, but he needs to call her out because that's important. If somebody, that's like somebody messing up your name and you're not correcting them, it just, I'm gonna just leave
Look,
it.
sometimes, I'm like Raven Simone. Look, y'all been saying it this way all this damn time. You might as well just continue to say it. I ain't gonna go all up the mulberry bush if it's not worth it to me. I wouldn't want to argue with her either. Yeah, I'm from there. Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to argue with her, then don't date her. I feel like certain things a person should remember. And that's kind of foundational when you're like getting to know somebody in terms of someone to potentially be with.
Right.
Where are you from?
You are. Our anniversary, fine. But where I'm from, we could play semantics with that. I'm from Hayward, California. Nobody knows where Hayward is. I'm from Oakland. There you go. Point blank, period. Because
but
people
the thing
will know
is, with him, you from the biggest city, sir, in Georgia.
Well, true, but I'm just saying.
So with him, it's he needed to speak up. That's a red flag to me. If you can't speak up to something that's important, that shows like while you're on this show, he'll accept whatever, take whatever. He don't care. He just want to win. And at this point, they're all giving that energy because ain't no way somebody gonna forget where I'm from. Ain't no way in hell. But I'm from Oakland. We very proud. Shout out to the town. That would actually be a cardinal sin. Not Hayward. I got to Hayward at the end and I hated it and went right back to Oakland. I did. I had to graduate high school in Oakland, which I hated because we had to do a senior project and we didn't have to do that in Hayward.
Yes. Oh, you didn't have Miss Drybray. That's why you didn't have to do it.
Absolutely not. I took her once and was done.
I'm saying I had to do a senior project, ma'am.
Oh yeah.
It was easy as shit.
In my sophomore year, I got an A.
I had her child. I had Miss Drybray ever since I got to Mount Eden junior year of my high school. Had her junior year twice. Had her senior year twice.
Oh no.
Yes.
Terrible.
Right.
I'm sorry, but you did.
Bless Miss Strawberry Heart. She's still living.
Is she? Moving on. I cannot. So K. Michelle and Andre talk, and we gonna get right to the middle of this apple, y'all. She asked him, who would he choose to be with her if not himself? And he said, or who would he choose out of the men left to be with her? He asked. He chose Ben. Why would you not choose yourself? I don't think he want her.
Or maybe he didn't understand what the assignment.
What? No. How do you miss it? How?
don't know. I'm just saying.
I was truly baffled, y'all, when that happened. I was baffled because I'm like, why would you not choose yourself? Why would you choose Ben? It's not that you built a friendship with this person, but I always say I don't trust people. I notice people or men who get real close to their friends or have hella close friends and all of that, they always alone. And I'm really starting to think there's a reason for it. Why would you choose that man who you just met over the woman that you here to be with? I don't think he wants her, but I think he's happy with where he made it on the show. I really do. That's what I would say. Do you feel any differently?
No, because I feel like a lot of them gave energy to want to be on TV. So he could be giving that same energy too. I mean, that's what I said. I feel like the picks that they should have kept, they sent home. All three of them. And I feel like the ones they kept should have been gone a long time ago.
I agree. There's like a few episodes ago, I was kind of like, I don't like who's going home as of now, but you know, it is what it is. We got to deal with it. Now we see Booker and Lisa Ray having a moment. Booker turns the tables on her and says that she is not giving him the time of day. And she also has not cared to ask him about his love language and his likes. And I feel like she's going to pick David now. I just do. Like in the end.
Absolutely, she picking David.
Yeah, because
I know her type.
He showed that if she expresses her opinion on something that they may disagree about, that he's going to become combative, defensive, but he's going to do it in a passive aggressive way is what it gave me. Now, while I do agree that his love language matters, you signed a contract to come on TV to compete to be with her. You could learn that shit after the cameras go off, technically. But it was just like, oh, now that you're in the hot seat, you want to bring this up. Why didn't you care to, in the past? And we've watched a lot of scenes with Lisa and Booker, and she has asked about his family, his upbringing. She has delved into who he is. So I felt like that was him like backed into a corner, like, I got to say something so I could win. Did you feel the same or you felt different?
No, I do feel it was calculated. I don't know if I got necessarily that from it, but I do know like it was a tactic. I could tell you were trying to woo her, but you got to understand Lisa Ray is old school as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lisa Ray ain't no new food. That shit will work with new women. These up and coming women now. That shit works for them. Lisa Ray, no, that doesn't work for her. You can't do the same shit. Makes me wonder how old that second baby's mom is. I want to know how old she is.
I think she's young because
it must be because
no shade. A lot of women his age is going through the change or have completed it,
and they ain't got time for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. That's why I'm like, I wonder how old that baby mama is, because to me, and I don't know why we're not delving deeper into that, because if she does pick him and the relationships get serious, he does have a child he still has to raise. So I'm trying to figure out why we keep skating around that.
That's a good point, because it does seem like she is avoiding that topic. And I don't think that's right for her to be with somebody who's still raising kids, got grown kids. That's too much family to meet, too. I'm just keeping it real.
Yes, exactly.
Now we get to the elimination. Booker and Andre and Tracy are all at the table for this elimination. And K. Michelle ends up eliminating Andre because of the comment he made about choosing Ben. Who is surprised? If K. Michelle did not eliminate him, I would have been pissed off.
I knew she was going to eliminate him when his friend came. So I knew he was going to be gone sooner or later. Yep.
You could tell they was like, well, Zach had to leave unexpectedly, so Kay, hold on, and you could delete him next.
Yes, exactly, because she was getting rid of him right at that time. She really was.
Yeah, because I don't think she was interested. I wouldn't want no man that got a friend like that coming. And you know that girl could probably cook better than Kay too.
She can cook better, know how to fold clothes better. She know how to wash the car. She can vacuum the seat. Ain't gonna be no near crumb. She can. I'm trying to tell you, she can sew a button in his missing buttons on a shirt. She do it all. That lady do it all. I promise you.
Not the missing buttons. I can't.
I'm telling you, she got a sewing machine. That lady, I know. I know what I'm looking at.
That's probably why Andre not tripping on having a female, because he's probably getting what he would get out of a wife or a girlfriend out of
Out
his
of her. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I 100% believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad because women, stop doing that. Stop being such a pick me where you picking up everything that he leaves off. No, learn how to be a player and act like you don't want him. That might make him come to you.
That's actually true. I have a friend that I told to do that, and it worked. Now the man won't leave her alone.
Draw back. I'm telling you, men, because then they'll start missing it. And then when they start missing it, then they start internalizing, okay, maybe this may be it. And if he don't pick you, then you was wasting your time in the beginning anyway. So it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's knowledge. Listen to him, everyone. The link is in the description. Delicious then addresses Tracy. She decides to keep him. I'm not surprised. She's indecisive and just enjoying the boys. Oh, did I miss somebody?
Yeah,
Yes, I did. Lisa Ray addresses Booker. She says that she would like to allow him more time to show her that he is funny. She's entirely missing the other red flag. She actually liked and is keeping him because of his comment with that gaslighting, manipulative, oh, did you care about my love language? So she chooses to keep Booker. I feel like Lisa and Booker would be like the couple that's like in a toxic relationship for years, because he don't seem like the type to do too much because it could cause him to be impacted at work, and she seemed like she just too old and tired to start over, but also don't want to argue no more. So I don't know, but she keeps Booker. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the show made her do that. I do.
I agree.
Because initially K Michelle had to eliminate a guy, which she did. So therefore they're not all equally yoked, because it wouldn't make sense for Lisa Ray to eliminate one of the two that she has, and then because she won the premise of the show, we still got one more whole episode. So it doesn't make sense for her to get rid of him. So I feel like it was the show. I honestly do. I don't think Lisa Ray's into him. I really don't. And I feel like she's just saying things, I think, for not necessarily TV. I just think for the people of that show who want to see Booker win, just because out of Booker and David, like, there's women that are gonna love Booker and there's women gonna love David. It's gonna be always a half and half situation. I feel like he should win over David, but at the same time, I feel like she's made her mind up already.
I don't think she's basically told on herself in her little commentaries and personal confessionals. She was like, that excitement, basically that butterfly, that fire in your body, when you see that person, it went away from her from her. So she says she would like to see if he could like reignite it and keep the spark going. But in my opinion, once the flame goes out, it's out. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of going back.
That's like losing the wick in the candle. Yes, you can dig the shit out, but it'll never light the same.
That's right. That's right.
So I just feel like, I don't know what she's, but once again, I think it's TV. That was my first one. Yeah.
I think they wanted each of them to keep toward the end, because if she was to send them home, then David will win, and they probably want to wait for the event. But the couples are going to go on a vacation together, really reminding me of old school VH1, Flavor of Love, I Love New York, all those shows. They always went on a vacation before the finale. They're going to Lake, is it Ossany? I don't know how to say it. They're going to a lake in Georgia. I do not trust lakes in Georgia. Google it. You'll know why. Just Google Lake Lanier. But they bring on an African-American psychotherapist and clinical psychologist, Dr. Tiffany is what I'll call her. I believe her name was Tiffany.
Dr. Tiffany should have been here at the beginning and not the end.
She should have been throughout the entire. I always think when you do shows that are involved with dating, that there should be a psychotherapist present the whole time, just because it's so
it's
easy.
Like never ever met when the therapist that I liked on that show, how she came at the end, it was like, oh no, baby, you needed to be here at the beginning.
They always bring them too late because they can't afford their rate without the insurance. But Lisa Ray meets with Booker and Dr. Tiffany, and she explains she wants Booker to be less serious. We know this isn't going to work. You cannot make someone be less serious. This is this man's personality. He's done some light, goofy things. He'll joke around with the guys, but he's a calmer dude. He's more serious. He's not the funniest person, and that is okay. That is okay. But Lisa, that's all she had to talk about, the therapy. And
it's like, man, you don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's not an eye opener.
I wish the therapist would have dug more into that and asking her questions like, well, what if this is who he is? Is that something that you can accept based on where you're at? But you could tell that this therapist was like not comfortable on television. She's like, well, I've gotten the download, because we never see them say that. Like, oh, I've been filled in a little bit. You could tell she probably really is a doctor and thought she was coming to do something, but ended up on TV. But, you know, she did what she could. I'm not going to go over each therapy session because Deliciouses, I don't want to talk about. They annoyed me. I felt like they were pointless. That girl think with her cootie cat. Yeah. And that's okay. That's what she wants to do. That's what she wants to do.
Sometimes that's okay.
You said what?
I said sometimes that's okay.
Listen, she's 46 years old. She could do what the hell she wants at this point. After kissing that man, Flavor Flav, she could do what she wants after that. Her sessions were kind of a joke. I didn't feel she took it seriously. But K. Michelle and Ben speak to the therapist, and this helped me see that these two are really different, but it seems to work. This is why I say I feel like K. Michelle and Ben have been interacting a lot and well with each other, but I don't feel it was interesting enough for a reality television show that's airing on Bravo, especially. But you can sense in this, I finally sensed the connection between K. Michelle and Ben in this session. There's something there. I still think she's choosing him because he's the safest choice. He also, if she wants to jump and have another baby, she can adopt on her own and stuff. He seems like he'd be chill with it. But if she doesn't, he's okay with that. He's got grown children just like her. The music industry she's going into, I'm sure that he would be able to be okay with. And I'm going to just say it. He is the fun, clear man that, in my opinion, probably don't judge. Probably is just chill. Ben seems like he would share a beer with anybody, even with all of his success. So I will say that, but it's still an odd, like, pairing.
It is an odd coupling. It is. It is odd, mainly because despite, you know, them having some sort of like intimate, like weird connection, where does that fit romantically?
Exactly.
Where does that fit intellectually? Because I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I see someone who, on her side, wants to have someone that she can push around and just, you know, that man that's going to go the extra mile, which Ben will do that for her. You know, Ben is like when Diddy made all the Making the Band people go to get a piece of cheesecake at 2:00 in the morning and freeze in cold weather. That's something Ben would do for K. Michelle. But I'm wondering what would be like the romance in there? Like, how would he woo you? Like, do you know what that's about? How would he, you know, fit into your life on a day by day basis? Like, are you really ready? Are you really looking at this man, wondering these things? Or are you just look at him because he's a safe pick, like you said? Because I do think that that's what she's doing. And that's why I'm gonna keep going back to a Afam, because I feel like that's who she should have picked, based upon him having the same characteristics as this man, and him still being a safe pick, and him being her friend. That's why I said, okay, Michelle needs a friend first, and then it turns into something romantic. She has
to. That's an important just piece of advice for most people. If you don't have a friendship with your partner, as well as that romantic connection, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work, or you won't be able to get through the hard times because
because the romance part of it, y'all, is realistically, even though it's a very important part, it is also very minuscule when you think of the day to day. Like, every day is going to be a challenge and different. And the romance is supposed to be the bonus that seals you and gets you in there, but you still have to go through the day to day. So that's why I feel like when you have a friend that you go through the day to day with, you talk, you communicate, you open, you laugh, you really go through all of the different senses of that person. So that's why I say it's very important. That's why I said she picked the wrong guy, or she sent the wrong guy home, because I felt like him being open and her seeing a friendship should have had antennas up to say, okay, because I see friendship with you and it could turn into more, I'm going to continue to see how this levels out. And then you guys
I like the Fom, but I do feel like he's better as her friend, just based on solely his career. I also don't feel they would ever have a shot being together unless she met him like truly by chance, like out in public or something.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
But based on, I hate to say it, but I feel like her status as a celebrity is probably impacting her ability to meet the man and men that she needs to meet. Because a lot of them, and I do agree that Afam is the right guy, a lot of them will be similar to Afam versus extra, like the people that she's used to being around on television, all of that. But after they meet with the doctor, we then see some weird mess. The show took a left turn. Okay, Delicious ends up in a hot tub with Zeus. I'm not gonna spend all day on this because I have another live. I'm gonna say this: Delicious is dumber than a 15-year-old on drugs. She is in this hot tub with Zeus, and he mentions like love and having love for her and all of this, and she's like, "I can't believe he loves me already." Delicious. If that man loved you, you wouldn't be on the show. I would just say that if that man loved you, he wouldn't be okay with you dating anybody else, even if for a TV show in a competition. The moment that he started to feel genuine love, he would start griping, have to leave, something. Ain't no way a man or a woman that love you gonna have just be okay with that. I just don't believe that. But there's definitely sexual tension. I think Delicious is the type to think that love comes from sexual tension. Listen, anybody can make you excited. I can only say so much on YouTube, but anybody can get you excited in an intimate way. It don't take much, okay? Certain stuff, it just don't take much. But climbing on them in the hot tub and all of this in front of Tracy and on the brother's birthday. Now, while they just met, I can't help but think, damn, you don't remember that he from Atlanta and you on this other dude in the birthday. I feel like Delicious gonna choose Zeus, and I'm okay with that. I feel in some ways I feel like they belong together. But
if she chooses Tracy, I swear I'm going to jump up and down and land on my head. Because I know that's not who she's picking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I feel like she's going to choose Zeus. She got real hot and heavy with him. I said, oh, Lord, here we go. And that's where they cut off the episode. So we are going to come back to, I believe, recap the finale of Queen's Court Season 2, Episode 10, which should be next week. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in to our little Queen's Court recaps. We do have our regularly scheduled recaps coming back. Love and Hip Hop Miami. I'm going to do it as soon as I end this live. It is back. And then I will also be recapping the Housewives of Beverly Hills tomorrow. So be sure to, be on the lookout for all of those things. In the meantime, thank you, James, for being here. And we're going to see what happened with these nasty ass people next week. Lord help us.
Lord help us.
All right. I'll see you guys in the next live. Be sure to like the video. Subscribe to James's channel. Link is in the description. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.